Happy Sunday, everybody. My name is Scott Mendenhall. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today, we're talking about Minnesota Nice and why it's not very kind. Maybe you don't live in Minnesota. Maybe you attend every Sunday, and you're like, I love this channel. And now all of a sudden, you've made it so precise to where you're from because we're from Minnesota. And there's a thing here in Minnesota. It is Minnesota Nice. It's just, that's a thing. It's on T-shirts. People have bumper stickers. But what does it mean? We're talking about kindness today, everyone. Kindness. And let's just talk. We're going to break it down today, but I'm never alone. We got heaps of people in the chat today, so welcome. Hang around with us all day. If you're just checking us out because of the title today, you live in Minnesota and you want to know why we're saying Minnesota Nice, why it's not kind. We're going to unpack it a little bit, but before we do that, it's Olympic season, and so we should go around the room, introduce ourselves, and what Olympic sport would you do in the Summer Olympics? All right, I got Joey over here. Joey's got so many beverages. Today's a day of beverages on your desk. He's got coffee over there, Spark, and Rehydrate. What's going on in your life today, Joey?
You know, I just, Scott once in a while gives me this drink called Spark and Rehydrate, and I'm obsessed with the taste of it, and I'm training for the marathon, and I thought, why not get some for myself so I can drink some? It's really good. You should, it's a really good drink.
It really is.
Look at me. I feel like I'm like, what do you call it?
Sponsored by.
Not sponsored, but.
But no, it does feel like that. It's a paid promo.
Yeah, it's a paid promo.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good one, though.
No, but it works. I mean, I've used it for years.
It's great. And then I got my, just my normal coffee. My Hy-Vee coffee.
So did you go into Hy-Vee?
I did.
Why did you go to Hy-Vee when you could have gone to just Caribou? Because they're in the same spot.
They are?
Yeah, did you go to the Hy-Vee right here in Corcoran?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's literally on your right-hand side when you walk in is a massive Caribou.
Oh, I didn't go in. So there's like a gas station?
Okay, just checking. All right, thank you. Thank you for your contribution this morning, Joey.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a pleasure. We're going to go with the one right next to me. No, we'll go with Dwayne. Who's got a new hairdo? Dwayne, how we doing, man?
I'm good.
He's good. He's got the right colors on today. He has got a haircut. A couple weeks ago, we talked about him doing a mohawk, and I think this is his just saying, I'm not doing it. I shaved my entire head, so I can't do it.
No. I did do a mohawk first, so I have the picture. But
yeah, here he is, Mr. T. No, leave them side by side. I think that's even better before and after kind of deal. Look at that.
That's awesome.
They don't even look like the same guy. Like, you're purposely not smiling over on the left side. That's great.
Right. Yeah, I was taking the picture, and Elizabeth walked in and was like, ooh, nice selfie. I was like, okay, I can't smile. Like, serious face here. Yeah, practicing my security look. That's
what I said. If I ever need a bouncer, a security officer, I need Dwayne to have that look, and you'll be intimidating enough. I thought that was great.
Yeah. Now,
great job.
I had my mohawk. I think the deal was I do one, you do one.
Great thing it was all on video. Great thing it was on video,
yeah.
And it definitely was never stated. So very, very, very.
Yeah, I wasn't here.
Very good. Very tricky. I ain't falling for it.
I tried.
You tried. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I've ever had a mohawk like that. I definitely have had a mohawk like where it's much longer than that, but. Mohawk like that, I don't think I have ever. Well done, Dwayne, to stick by man of your word there. Lily, we got Lily in the studio. How you doing, Lil?
Good.
Do you feel all kinds of pressure every week that you represent the women?
No.
Okay, I'm just checking. There's a lot of pressure.
No, we don't need the pressure.
No pressure.
We're doing great.
And you as well have a lot of beverages on your desk.
Yeah, someone gave me this coffee this morning.
Caribou.
Got my coffee.
Yeah, it can never be over caffeinated. Clearly.
Got this big old thing right here.
A big old rock. Okay, so give us your best guess what you think Minnesota Nice is in the chat.
Wait, I thought we were
doing
do
Olympic sports.
We are,
okay.
But I'm also trying to get people in the chat here, guys.
I don't want to forget.
My goodness, I'm trying to get everybody involved in
best
the topic.
Guess of what Minnesota Nice
what is Minnesota Nice? When you say Minnesota Nice, what are you saying? What are you saying about, oh man, Minnesota Nice?
A fake niceness.
A fake niceness? Okay. We'll save it. Let's go to the Olympic sport deal. Dwayne, with your new haircut, are you saying you would like to be a swimmer? That's what I would go with the haircut because that's what swimmers do. They tend to.
Aerodynamic.
Yeah. Is it really called aerodynamics when you're in water?
Probably not.
I have no answer to that, but when you said aerodynamic, I was like, I get what you're saying, but in water, is that really a thing? But okay. Do you think hey, speaking of that, like I've been watching, we love the Olympic sports around here. It's so much fun. I had no idea I like handball as much as I do. It's just a glorified PE game.
Yeah.
I mean, right? It looks like you could play this you'd have to make it not so rough, but it's like, I like that game. It's fast paced. There's enough contact in it. It's like, ooh, that hurt. I like it. I don't know fully all the rules, so it gets confusing at times. It's like
I haven't really watched that one.
You should give it. Your kids would love it. It's one of those that you could set up for your kids in your living room and play it and just be hilarious. So you should give it a go. But that and rugby, both are good sports to watch, but I don't understand all the rules of it. So sometimes I'm like, wait, why is that a penalty? What happened there? What's the difference in that one and what I saw before? So those are fun sports to be watching. But I'm watching the swimming. They got to be putting something on their skin to make that water kind of run off them. You ever notice when they get out of the pool, the water doesn't...
They probably do. They probably do.
They got to have something on them. There's so many hacks for that sport that I don't even know, but like it's just running off them.
Which is like so fascinating to me because water has always been around. Always. Since the dawn of the ages. Since God created the earth.
I wonder what is... Where are you going with this, Luke?
What's cool to me is that something that it has existed so long can still be like, you know what I'm saying?
Like what? I'm confused.
Can still be like, I don't know how to say it, but like discovered. Like you can still
figure ways around it.
New ways on how to experience it differently. It's
well, see, I thought you would have gone a little bit more athletic and like get faster in the water.
Yeah, but if you think
you said experience it differently.
But if you think about how many different ways you can be in the water, on top of the water, underneath. Well, not underneath, like submarine kind of thing.
That would be in the water.
Mm-hmm. In the water, deep down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we can say that about
any
anything.
Yeah, it's confusing. It's a bit confusing. She was headed somewhere pretty profound, and then
I was trying to
she
say,
took the track the wrong way.
I get what I'm trying to say, but you guys don't get it.
Well, that's
like
half
people
the battle.
like
should probably
continue
catch
to
up.
get faster.
Yeah, that's the
people
problem.
continue
You
to-
should probably try to catch up with one.
We're trying to. We are.
I'm just really slow. It's all right.
No, you're
Okay.
not.
I just need help.
So, Dwayne, do you think that they got to be wearing something like some kind of, I'm going to say baby oil, but it ain't baby oil, but they're
I
putting
was
something on
thinking
there, right?
some type of oil.
I would assume. Like, I mean, I know like they're all shaved now. Like I say that, like I've noticed getting out of or working outside, like the sweat, like it kind of just runs off really easy. So
Okay.
I don't know if it's a lack of hair that it just kind of goes off.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
that could possibly be.
Yeah, but I just like when I get out of the pool, I can feel it still running off my face, and you look at them, and it's just like instantly the water just they got something on them.
Do you think it's the chemicals in the pool?
No, I think they're totally putting something on their skin. I don't know the hack, but me being around, like when you become an expert in one sport, you realize the hacks and the drinks that you can drink to recover and all these different things. So like my short run in Ironman, I realized, these were the hacks for getting faster on a bike. These were the hacks getting faster running, and then swimming. All these different things that you just become experts in, and I'm looking at them going, yeah, they're doing so. And then the other mind-blowing thing in the Olympics for me, I watched a 100-meter run yesterday, the women's final. I thought the idea was to get lighter, and all these women are wearing jewelry. There's one of our American athletes, and she's fast.
Sha'Carri?
I don't know
Isn't that
who
her
it
name?
is.
Sha'Carri?
Yeah.
Wait,
She's pretty cool.
She's the one with the long fingernails?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she lost.
She did?
Yeah, she got second place.
But she's been doing so
Second
well.
place,
Yeah, that St. Lucia girl was fast.
She was fast. It was impressive. But the other American
all
girl
fast.
had she had chains around her waist. And I was like, that's just, it looks cool, but you might go just because it's about tenths of a second. It could be the 10th of the second in that jewelry.
You think so?
Yeah, I thought it looks cool, and I just didn't understand it. I was like, I thought the idea was to get lighter.
This is funny. It's funny hearing you comment about that.
That's what I mean. If I was commentating, I'd be like, what is going on with these people? Like, I get the jewelry around the neck. That looks cool.
That's weight, though. That's weight.
It's weight. It is. My daughters just cannot, which is surprising. They can't figure out the fingernails. They're always like, those fingernails have got to be slowing her down. And I'm like, no way. I think it cuts through the. And it's like, it's a nod to. Do you know that's a nod to an older, like in the 90s, I think it was, runner, American runner. Did you know that?
With the long fingernails?
Yeah.
No, didn't know.
Oh yeah, there was a girl. I forget her name. Well, do you know, Dwayne? Do you know by any chance?
No.
What? Do you even know who I'm talking about? No. Okay, Lil. I need you to. It's you know what I've learned in my life. I always got to have somebody that's a Googler around me. Lily tends to be that in the office.
Literally, the first thing is 90s runner with long nails.
Yeah. What's her name?
Florence Griffith Joyner.
Can I see the picture? Just to
No,
confirm.
I don't have a picture. Is that her? Well, that's Sha'Carri.
Yeah, that's her right there, right there, right there.
Cool.
What's her name?
Florence Joe.
Yeah.
Flo Joe.
Yeah,
And
she's.
her iconic nails.
Yeah,
That's so fun. See? Look at her. She's a boss. I
Oh
love
yeah, she was
her.
so fast in her day.
She only has one hand that's really, really long, though.
It was awesome. I grew up watching that,
That's
so it's a
crazy.
nod, and that's what I was trying to tell my kids. Hey, her long fingernails is like a nod to a 90s 100-meter runner, 200-meter runner that killed it. The other sport...
It's also cultural now.
To have long fingernails like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm all for it. I think it's great.
It's very not functional.
No.
Try zipping a zipper with those things.
Yeah, not functional at all, but it looks sweet. You look fast. You just do. I'm just saying, she looked fast.
Yeah,
I don't know what
like
happened to her last night.
weapons.
She did not make it. She did not. She got second, and she looked like she wasn't running normal, like for her.
Maybe she was hurt.
It maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time I've watched her second part of the race is unbelievable, but her start doesn't.
And that was the problem yesterday.
Yeah.
Her start, she was in dead last at one point, came back to second.
Yeah.
It's like, if we could just clean up the start a little bit. I don't know. That's the critic. I'm not being a critic. I'm just saying what I see. Nonetheless, that was great. I know that the Olympics are a lot more than the United States, but that's who we are. We are from the U.S. and we like it and we love them. So, anyways, we spent too much time. We don't get to talk about what sports we do because we just talked about the Olympics. But it's happening. You should check it out. The best way to watch it, honestly, Joey, if you're like, oh, I haven't really seen any, 7 o'clock NBC does a recap of the day. NBC.
Okay.
Watch it with your kids.
No, yeah, we've been watching.
Do you watch the NBC thing at night?
I don't know what we watch. Michaela watches, puts it on.
Okay, so it's 7 o'clock. We all just get around, which is not normal in this house to like sit down at 7. But at 7 o'clock, we've been sitting there and we watch. Rev loves it, and he's 5 years old. He's glued every time the sports come. He's like, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
When the national anthem is played, it's great. He pops up, puts his
That's
hand
so
over his heart.
great. I love that.
And then it's funny when the kids, all of our kids, they hear the other national anthems for other countries, and they're like, it's so long. Do they even have words? I'm like, yeah, they do. It's just not in English. Like, sometimes you just want to just pop my children in the head going, that's so disrespectful. We're raising heathens. The other thing in the sport, there are a couple other things. Just, this is not if you came here for the title, just hang tight. We're just having a little bit of fun. Okay, a little bit of fun. Just talking about the Olympics. It's current events. Tell us your favorite sport you've been watching in the chat. We'd love to hear that. The other thing in this that's happening in the sports is the men's gymnast team. Did you see that? Dwayne, did you see that the other night? I think it was Tuesday.
No.
What? You didn't? Oh, man.
We don't have live
Are you
TV, so...
You don't have one of those antennas you just put on your window?
Nope.
I'll mail you one.
Steven was talking about this earlier, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna go out and get one of these, but yeah.
You didn't know they existed?
Well, not in like the updated model. Like we had the antennas on the TV.
What?
You know,
This has
big
been around
tube
forever.
TVs with,
Steven, thank you.
I had it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we do it. You just find a spot. I mean, it's a little clunky because you're like now hanging this flimsy material on a window, and when you drive by and see it in people's homes, you know what they're doing. Sometimes you can hide it behind the TV and stuff.
Yeah,
but
we have one.
yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Free TV. You know, people don't want you to know about this hack because they want you to pay for TV.
Yeah.
Get it out of here. Okay, so you go get one of those. You'll love it. But the American men's gymnastic team, they had a day. I think it was Tuesday. They had a day. The last guy to go. This is awesome. He's going to be on the pommel horse. Is that what it's called, Lil? Do you know?
Yeah, the guy with the glasses.
Yes.
See, Joe even knows.
Oh yeah.
What
he
about
doesn't? He doesn't look like a typical
Gymnast.
Doesn't
No.
but he's unbelievable.
Wildly good.
Wildly
Is this
good.
a U.S.?
Yeah, U.S.
It was hilarious. I gotta say.
Yeah,
that.
let's go.
I don't know if it was Tuesday or if it was like the other day, but he got that. So he wears glasses. He takes them off for the competition. He does it. I swear he probably just muscle memory. But he's like squinting, and then after the reporter, all you hear him say to his buddy or his teammate, "I need my glasses. I can't see."
Yeah,
I was dying.
Yeah, and he's walking around like, hey, he went last night on pommel horse again, and he got third. Tuesday was about the team winning, which is a big deal. And he's squinting. But in the interview, he's like, I can't really see the pommel horse. It's like, what?
Yeah, all I heard is like, I gotta find my glasses.
Yeah. So then now he's got this nickname as Superman. He's got Clark Kent version with the glasses. Now look, Lily's doing a deep dive
I'm watching a video.
of him. Let me see it. Yeah, that's him. Flip it. Oh no, now we've missed it. Nonetheless, okay. Dwayne doesn't even know either. You gotta go watch this stuff, guys. Missing out.
I have heard that one. Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen a little clip of that. Yeah, that is impressive.
Yeah, and then Ukraine won their first gold medal in I don't know how long in fencing yesterday, which was pretty cool to watch that, especially what's going on over there in Ukraine. And just I think what's special about the Olympics is it brings world attention to different parts of the world that sometimes you forget. And the Olympics have done a great job to remind everyone, hey, this is happening in Ukraine. Wild thing that they said last night, Dwayne just flipped on us. He went sideways. They said that in the last, I don't know how long it has been going on, but over 400 athletes have left the Olympic training facility in Ukraine to go fight, which is pretty wild.
Wow.
And they gave a number of them, how many had been killed in the battles against Russia. It's just wild to have that attention to it. And I thought NBC, classy move. Typically, they end their broadcast with a gold medal national anthem with us, one of our gold medals. And they did the Ukraine last night, winning fencing gold medal, and it was pretty cool. So, again, good goal. One more week left. Track and field's kicking off yesterday. We got a couple golds. They're calling this the Gold Rush weekend. There's like, Legend, do you remember the number of gold medals they're saying available this weekend? 49, 48? 49 or 48 gold medals are available in Saturday and Sunday. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, Gold Rush weekend, they call it. And then the last question I got, how do you know who wins the Olympics? Exactly. No one actually knows. I've Googled it.
Who wins the most gold?
Oh, yeah, that's one way, like ESPN says that. Fox Sports says it's whoever has the most medals. And then somebody else says, and this is probably somebody that thinks everyone deserves a trophy, there is no true winner. It's just about a display of sportsmanship and athletic ability. Which I stopped reading as soon as I got to that. I was like, no, there's a clear winner. There has to be. Dwayne chuckling back there. Or why would you show up? Like, right? Oh, no, I don't need the gold medal. I'm just here to show my athletic ability to the world. No, they want that gold. Get out of here. Okay. Lil,
Yes.
any closing thoughts on the Olympics?
Simone Biles, you're a beast, girl.
Yeah, she did. Why didn't we even talk about her? She killing it.
Love that girl. It's amazing.
She's talented.
Did you hear the rumor that she's pregnant? I'm like, I don't believe that.
I did not hear
Good
that.
for her. Good for
My mom told me that. I'm
Good
like,
for
no,
her and,
no, mom.
what's
You
his
believe everything you read online or what?
Owens. What's the
Yeah,
guy's name?
he's now. He used to be on the Packers. Now on
What's
the
his name?
Bears. He's
Jonathan Owens.
He-
He's tall. Those two are like 3 feet apart.
yeah. But have you not noticed that?
I love it.
Well, you ever know? Like the trend is if you are no disrespect, but on the shorter side of things as a female, you tend to marry a person that's twice your height.
Maybe sometimes.
Look at tall Jordan Cayley. It's
I
the
mean,
same
yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Same deal. So it's just something about it. I don't know, but
They met online, and he didn't realize she was so short until they met in person.
Of course,
And he
it's,
was like, "Wow, you're shorter than I was thinking."
But-
I watched some of their show.
How tall is she? Do you know?
No, I don't.
5'1"?
no, don't know.
4'8".
4'8". Dwayne coming in.
That's
She's not 5.
She's not 5.
crazy.
Wow.
But she in her what's the main event she does where she throws her body over the big old you run down and do a flip. The vault.
Thank you, Legend.
Thank you, Legend. I don't know these things. You're like, yeah, I got pommel horse.
I feel like that was harder.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
typically just called a horse, but okay.
It is? They kept calling it pommel horse
It's
yesterday.
a pommel horse, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean.
Okay, she runs down and she throws her body over it. She's soaring like 16 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Then when she does her flow routine, this is even more wild. She's doing a flow routine where you're just running around and just is very unkind. It is so athletic and it's amazing. I wish I could do. She's literally throwing her body in the air 14 feet. They compared it to a LeBron James jump and dunk to what she's doing. She's jumping 4 feet or something like that higher than him.
Well, she also has bouncy things underneath her.
Bouncy things. Technical term, Joey.
But
is so fun.
yes, it is unbelievable.
I'm enjoying hearing you guys talk about
This
this.
is impressive.
It is very impressive.
It's impressive. I wish I could do all of that. If there was a sport I'd like to do because I just want the ability, it would be gymnastics, all of that stuff. When the men are doing the rings, and they're like,
Yeah, those rings are nuts.
they're like doing the iron cross where you just hold yourself like this, then they put themselves in an L, then they go to handstand. You're just like, how are you doing that? How is your shoulders not popping? It's impressive.
Yeah.
Lily's smiling over here like she
I
can
love
do
it.
this stuff.
No, I can't. I'm amazed by it too. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
But it is fun. You guys
It
should
is.
try it.
All right, let's get to it.
Yeah,
Dwayne.
let's get to it.
Let's get to the Minnesota Nice thing. Good morning to start. Just hopefully everybody have a good conversation in the chat. Minnesota Nice, you lived here for a while. Explain it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking to somebody in Mississippi, Dwayne, about Minnesota Nice, how would you explain it?
See,
I like the pause.
I know. I know a lot of people in the chat. Like it's a passive aggressive nice. Like I don't know. Like I would say Southern hospitality is another one. Like I think a lot of the sweet old ladies at church, you know, you would give you a compliment and kind of be like a backhanded, you know, insult as well. Kind of like, you know, in the South we say bless your heart.
Yeah.
You know, so bless your heart is, you know, it can be a nice thing, which I think Minnesota Nice always took it as, okay, like these people were very hospitable, like they were very welcoming. The very first, like we moved there in August, and our next door neighbor came and just handed us tickets to the fair with, you know, tons of coupons. So,
But that's
like,
super nice.
I think it has a double. Yeah, it is. I
Like
think
that's
it has
not
a double
Minnesota
meaning.
nice. Yeah. I could agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it has a double meaning because there was a lot of nice people that we interacted with, but I can see how it could go kind of like the, you know, bless your heart, you know, kind of the passive aggressive, you know, backhand insult as well. So
Yeah, I think they all have that, right? When I lived in the South, and I know a lot of people would say Fort Lauderdale and Miami is not the South, but it still is. Or if I've ever visited Texas, or even when I've been down there to speak down there in Mississippi, and I do something that's like they're shaking their head while they say "bless your heart." I've always translated "you're an idiot."
Mm-hmm.
When someone is saying "bless your heart," it's like you're an idiot.
Where it's like, oh, honey.
Yeah, you're an idiot. You're honey, but in their head
Oh,
they're like
honey.
you're a moron. You shouldn't have done that. But they won't say that. They're just bless your heart. So Minnesota Nice, I do think Minnesota Nice is genuinely, there's a niceness to it. I think Minnesota Nice is I'll help you to your car with your groceries, but I'll never invite you to my house. It's kind of where it is. There is a line somewhere in the Minnesota Nice thing where I want to talk to you in public places, but it pairs down really fast to, oh yeah, let me come to your house, you come to my house kind of deal. Minnesota Nice is a thing, and I think so is Southern hospitality, and I think always attached to that is a negative deal. Joey's grown, he's the only pure Minnesotan.
I am pure Minnesotan.
Okay, Lily's a transplant, I'm a transplant. What's your thought on Minnesota Nice, grown up with it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't probably know any different, but after listening to you guys, I think one thing that comes to my mind is like the word "I'm sorry." So like, for example, you know, if someone's like in the way, I mean, Elizabeth she kind of said in the grocery store, like someone in the middle of the aisle or something, and like you're just in the way for like 1 second. You're just like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll move, or like at a stop sign and like, oh, like you go first, like kind of like waving someone like by. I feel like, you know, maybe, I don't know, down south, out east, I don't know. I feel like people are more like direct and more like, I'm just gonna go in traffic. It's like, oh, in Minnesota, hey, yeah, you go first.
Yeah, there's definitely a
like that. I don't know.
That's fair. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. And I think when people come visit here, bringing missions trips up, or Minnesota's so nice because of that. They're polite in public places. They'll let people go, which is fair. I like that. Way to come back in and set us right, Joey. Good job. Now let me ask this question, Lily. What's the difference? Without looking at my notes between. Did you look at my notes?
No.
Okay, great. What's the difference of kindness and nice?
I would say maybe kindness has a more genuine heart than niceness.
How would you determine that? Like, that's a tough one.
Yeah, that is tough.
Okay, all right. We're going to let you think about that one, because how do you determine that? That's at face value. I don't know. I'm not letting that doesn't settle well with me.
Like,
Dwayne, how would you describe?
I have more ideas.
Kindness, niceness. The difference. What's the difference between being kind and nice? And we'd like to hear people in the chat as well. What are you thinking?
I think kindness would be a intentional act, like you do something to show that you are thinking about someone, like that, not that kindness. And nice is just a general demeanor, like general just just a reaction.
Niceness is a general demeanor.
So you can be nice and not be kind.
That's confusing to me.
Yes.
I don't know.
Joey goes, I don't know.
I feel like it's so similar.
You think they're similar?
Yeah, in my mind, like you're being kind, you're being nice. Like in a general sense, I'd be like, yeah, that's like the same thing.
Right.
But
again, if you go to our title of this is Minnesota nice isn't so kind, so we are suggesting there is a difference. I do think Minnesota nice, this will help explain where we're going to go with this. Minnesota nice, Minnesotans don't want to create waves. They don't want niceness is the way I wrote niceness is usually done to avoid making waves, creating friction. Minnesotans don't like.
I'm a totally Minnesotan, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit passive.
Yeah.
But to avoid confrontation, or conflict. Yeah, I get that, but I don't think that's the heart in it. I just think, I don't want to ruffle feathers. All those terms come into. It's often out of. Now here's the part of this that makes it so tricky, is that niceness is oftentimes, not always, because there's always going to be something, it's not mine, but oftentimes it comes out of the heart of wanting to be liked and not seen as the bad person, the bad guy. So there's the danger of being nice. It's a selfish version of kindness. How's that settle with you, Lil?
Niceness is a selfish version of kindness?
Yeah.
I feel like we have more discussion to do.
Well, that's why I'm throwing it at you. I'm asking you.
Well, I just don't know if I know the full difference yet in my heart.
Okay. Oh, in my heart. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it goes
In my
back to
head,
kind of
in my
like
heart.
the fakeness, like you were talking about a little bit of like nice is like you're just almost putting on a front, like you're being nice, but you're not intentionally. I don't know. I don't know yet.
I think kindness shows a genuine interest in others, whereas niceness is just like you might smile in passing, but a kindness might stop and say, "Hey, how are you?"
Okay.
Right.
Okay, I see that. I got what you're trying to do. It'll be interesting when we land this plane. I write that down, Lily, somewhere so we can come back to that, because
Okay.
Here's what the truth is. I think we grew up with all these words that describe different things, nice and kind, and to Joey's point, they're similar. They're like peas in a pod situation. And then you start really spending some time on it, and you're like, wait a second. Maybe it is drastically different. Again, what we're saying, a working definition, meaning it's moldable, pliable, we'll move it around a little bit, is usually done to avoid making waves, avoids conflict, avoids stirring the pot a little bit. It's often, not always, but often, niceness comes out of the heart of, I want to be liked.
Jen says, nice is not wanting to offend. Kind is being considerate of another's well-being. Sometimes you say something in love. It's kind, but not necessarily nice. Like, kindness would be like, hey, I'm being a mirror to you right now. You're doing something you said you didn't want to do. It's not necessarily a nice delivery.
That's
like,
fair.
It's nice.
That's fair. The dangerous thing, there's pitfalls in everything, right? But one of the things in being kind, the pitfall in kindness is it's often seen as tolerance that ends up leading or lending itself to consent if done wrong. What do you shake your head?
I'm trying to track with that.
Okay.
Niceness is tolerance.
No.
Kindness?
Kindness, the pitfall of kindness can
pitfall.
be. It's a pitfall. It's baked into both of these kind of niceness and kindness. But the thing that often seen as kindness, what are you chuckling for?
Well, the camera was on me for a while.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's fine.
So, and again, our working big definition of kindness is loaning someone your strength. Kindness, loaning someone your strength rather than reminding them of their weakness. That's like, I don't need an example of that. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. But the dangerous in this topic is that me being kind says I'm being tolerant of someone's behavior, lifestyle, which can lead to consent. It can make that individual think, oh, they're being kind to me. So they must approve of what I'm doing.
But like with what Jen said, it's kind to hold someone accountable. That should be considered kindness. But in our working definition of loaning your strength rather than reminding of their weakness, like their weakness would be that they're not living up to the standards they said they wanted to live up to. And so you're loaning them their strength by going, here, let me show you a different way to live. Rather than submit to this addiction or be living in this temptation, you know?
Right.
Like, kindness would be a friend that holds another friend accountable.
Go, Dwayne.
Does that go into the love? Like, I think that's where I typically, like, I'm telling you this because I love you. Is so, like, at what point does the kindness, like, we kind of
it becomes
use
love.
that, it becomes love. Like, I'm willing to step out and to, create waves and to, be the bad guy in a sense to show that I genuinely care for you.
Which, that's just not where we're at in our culture. Culture does not, and I speak probably more, I can't speak worldly in it because I don't live in New Zealand and I don't live in Australia. I'm in the USA, and when I here, there is a big problem. People want me to be kind, but their version of kind. They don't want the kindness that we're going to talk about today. They want a kindness that says, I agree with you. I don't want to ruffle feathers. And so what they're asking for people is just be nice. Just be nice. But the danger in just being nice is you don't help anybody but yourself. You're avoiding creating the waves.
You're avoiding, like, the truth.
Ooh, Joey. You better mark that one down that you just said that. Okay. So kindness is, maybe boiling it down a little bit better for it. Kindness is other-centered thinking. Kindness is other-centered thinking, meaning I'm not worried about if Lily's going to be upset at me. I'm not going to hurt her on purpose, but I need to address this and say this to her because I can see the pitfall in her life. I'm worried about her relationship with such and such, her outcome. I'm worried about Joey's life. So I'm going to say I'm not worried about my life or what they're going to think about me. Maybe even backing up, maybe you can trump those fears. Kindness this is true though. Kindness is not always nice, and nice is not always kind. Kindness prioritizes the need of others. When you see a need, meet a need. Now here's one. When you look up Greek terms and stuff to just really like what's these authors, and so the Greek word used for kindness means to be useful. So now think about it. Kindness is to be useful, not to just be blah. Niceness is, you look great. That's not really useful, helpful, nothing. It's just being nice.
It's like when you see someone doing something and you go, you're doing a great job. That's so nice of you to say. It's nice of you to see me that I'm doing a great job. But kindness would be let me step in and help.
Let me help
and
you.
also say you're doing a great job.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, but let me finish the race with you.
Right.
Let me loan my strength.
It's tangible. It's tactical.
Right. It's not telling you you're doing a great job. You suck. I'm going to step in. That's that niceness thing again. The kindness is you're doing a great job. I just want to finish the race with you. I just want to be around you. No strings attached. I'm just going to step in. I'm loaning my strength. I'm not going to remind you that you might not make it to the finish line. Let me help you. So we're going to use a great story in the Bible with Jesus. And he's going to explain this. And you're going to have to stick around for this. We're going to try to unpack this. We are limited on time. But here it is. John chapter 8, verse 1 is where we're headed. John is... Cool things about John, author, eyewitness account to what Jesus was doing. So he documents, writes it down, talks to the other 12, 11 at times. Hey, what do you think on this? And he's telling a different version of some of the stories. John is the one that says that Jesus loved me, which is cool, I guess. I mean, I probably have a problem with John because of that. But John also is who took care of Jesus' mom, Mary, after Jesus' death and resurrection. Mary became... Mary was handed over to John. John took her to Egypt and kept her alive. So John has all these stories about Jesus' birth and all these things that are really cool to read from his vantage point, because I guarantee you every birthday season, Mary would just sit there and tell the stories. Oh, yeah. When I was about to give birth, I rode a donkey and I went to Bethlehem. It's like when our kids' birthdays come around, we start telling their stories of how they were delivered. And every year, new details come out. And it's like the kids are like, oh, I didn't know. You didn't say that before. It's like, well, we didn't think about that. Because every year, different details come out. And they get, by the time they're old enough, they'll get the whole complete story. Like the other day, Historic's birthday was last Friday. And we were like, you're our Outback baby. And she's like, what? We told her that Holly went into labor in Outback, and we sat there and finished our meals. And as Holly's water was literally going everywhere, not her drinking water, baby juice all over. Too much. Lil gave a face. Was that not? Is that not tasteful?
Tasteful.
No.
What would you have said?
You can just say her water broke.
It's better to say baby juice.
It's not. It's disgusting.
It's not disgusting. Okay. Joey's looking up to the sky. It's not, Joey, what are you rubbing your face for?
I can't wait to read John 8.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't think it's disgusting, but I don't think it's like
it's descriptive.
Pleasant.
It's descriptive,
It's
people.
descriptive, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to be, descriptive for all of you, so you
we
feel
get it, though.
Great, okay. Okay, John chapter 8, here it is. This is John capturing the story. Jesus returned to the Mount of Olives, but early the next morning, he was back again at the temple. A crowd soon gathered, and he sat down and taught them. Now, here's a big deal. Okay, this is like you and I read things, and sometimes we just buzz by them, but you're going to start. I need to keep track how many times he stands up and sits down in this story. So he comes in and sits down.
Sitting or standing.
Yeah,
it's a fun game.
A great game, which Jesus is playing it here. He's a Crowd gathered inside the temple, and he begins to teach them. Rabbis would never teach sitting down. Ever, ever, ever. Zero chances. You were to stand up. You were to leverage authority and be over them. I am in a spot of authority. But here we have Jesus coming in. A crowd gathers, and what does he do? Sitting is a position of humility. He sits down and teaches them. As he was speaking, teachers of religious law and Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery, and they put her in front of the crowd. I've read this story so many times, and literally I can't figure this out. Why just a woman? The thing about adultery, it takes two. And they caught her in the act of, okay? Like, we're not saying they caught her coming out of the house. They caught him in the act. It would be like late night driving. There's a car in like a dead end, and you come up on them and you catch some people in the act of. You caught them, but you only pull one of them out and go, all right, I'm picking you. Why? Why did they pick the woman?
And I'm pretty sure, according to the law, they both were supposed to have the same consequences.
Same consequences. So it's crazy.
So this dude just got off.
Well, I think it reveals the heart of an intention of these people, the religious people, the Pharisees, because they're looking to do some bad things to Jesus, but they need a case against him. Teacher, they said, the woman was caught in the act of adultery. The law of Moses says, stone her. What do you say? They were trying to trap him into saying something they could use against him, but Jesus stooped down and wrote in the dust with his fingers. He stooped down. I almost thought it was stood up, and I was like, wait, this is confusing. He stooped down. So you had Jesus sitting down, Pharisees and them come, he stood back up. Now he's stooping back down, positioning himself, stooping down to write, going lower than, a bit of humility again in the act, stoops down and begins to write in the dust. Now I try, every time I think about this, I'm like, what is he writing? What's he writing? Like, it's a pretty powerful moment. Anytime I've watched a retelling of the Jesus story, either the Passion of the Christ or even with The Chosen, when they get to this scene, it's always like, well, that's pretty cool, but they never reveal what he's writing. But I looked it up. A lot of theologians think that he is writing down the law of Moses, which Lily alluded to.
I've heard before, too, that, like, if the story says she's caught in the act, then it's likely that she doesn't have many clothes on, and that Jesus is respecting her by gazing away, right, going down.
I've never heard that. That
never
just sounds crazy to me.
Why?
I would never buy that. No way. Religious people aren't going to drag a woman around like that because they themselves would be...
Well, she might have been wearing not a lot.
No, I don't think that. That seems very far-reaching to me.
Interesting. I never felt that.
Yeah, because it's just like, I could never see...
He actively took his gaze off. Looked down.
But it doesn't say that. It says he was trapped. They were trying to trap him and saying something they could use against him, but Jesus stooped down and wrote in the dust. So that's nothing about it. I think if that's what the heart was, and his eyes went off the woman, he's going down, because you can't write very well without looking
down.
Yeah, so I don't think, I just would be that, I don't know.
Maybe not. He stands back up, like we'll see in the story.
He stands back up.
I did hear that and go, wow, that is an interesting thought.
But think about towards the end of this story, and we'll fast forward, because I do want to stay there. He talks straight at her.
Yeah.
And so if that was the case... I can't get there. I don't know. I would need more of where the person's speaking.
And people will read things and have thoughts and maybe be right or wrong. And that's why it's important to always stay on the truth of what we're reading. It's maybe, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't change the story.
Right. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't, definitely.
It doesn't. And it doesn't also create an opposite heart of who we know Jesus to be. No, which is important. It might be wrong. I mean, I don't know that. We'll
get off that. But I do think an aha moment for me this week when I was reading this, because I've been reading Exodus. I just have been in Exodus. Now I'm in Numbers, and I've enjoyed it. It's been so cool, and I've just learned so much. But I was reminded of when Moses was up on the mountainside and God was downloading the 10 Commandments and stuff. This is what is written about that moment in Exodus 31:18. Hang with me. We'll build a case here. When the Lord finished speaking to Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave him 2 tablets of the covenant law, the tablets of stone inscribed by the finger of God. Put that in your memory bank. Now come back to Jesus. Remember what these religious people are trying to catch him. They're trying to figure out who this guy is. And Jesus stoops down and writes in with his finger in the dirt. These religious people have these scriptures memorized inside and out. And remember what Jesus is constantly doing when he was on earth. He's trying to remind and tell people, I am the Messiah, and I am like my Father. I am the Messiah. I am the one that you've been waiting for. So everything Jesus is going to do is going to be intentional to teach us who he is. It's not going to derail us. It's going to be, okay, so every move is calculated. Everything that Jesus is about to speak or do is to point to his messiahship. Made up a word, I'm sure. But that's what, so you look at this moment where Jesus stoops down and wrote in the dust with his finger. It is a direct correlation to I am God, which would infuriate the religious people even more, because he's now going to stoop down and write in the dust with his fingers. My guess would be he's writing down the law that Lily spoke about, which is in Deuteronomy chapter 22, which the law required both parties that were caught in adultery to be stoned. And I think Jesus is writing it down, so he's saying, hey, where's the dude? I know what you're trying to do. So we get back to the story. They kept demanding an answer because Jesus isn't answering. What's Jesus do? He stood up again and said, all right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone. Then he stooped down again and wrote in the dust. Okay, whenever you read a story with Jesus doing something, repetition should stand out to you. And in this whole story, the repetition is standing, sitting, standing, sitting. He's not playing a game. Sounds like fun we should play. But repetition is he's going up and down, up and down, up and down, which I think he's bouncing back and forth between 2 things. Now, no one knows these answers, I don't think. But here, Dwayne, I'm going to give you a guess. What would these 2? He's bouncing between 2 things that are scriptural. In his body language, what's he doing based on the conversation we're having today? What is Jesus doing when he stoops down, stands up, and then does the opposite? What are the 2 realms he's playing in that is 100% of who Jesus is?
Heaven and earth?
I like that one. That's good, but no. Joey already said one of them.
I did.
Yeah, early on.
Oh, I was going to just say Lord and Messiah.
Okay, that's close. But what are those 2 things?
Truth.
Okay, 1, ding, 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 ding. Wait, so what's the, okay, wait, stop. I'm going to walk him through, Dwayne. I'm going to walk him through and help him out because this could be a big win for Joey today. You got 1, but you said Lord and Messiah, so which one does the truth tie to when you say the Lord?
You mean when you...
Truth and Lord you're matching?
Yeah.
Okay, so Messiah now. What is the Messiah part?
Savior?
Yeah, but what's the word that ties to it that would be truth? That Jesus is 100% truth and?
Love?
No,
so
Lily,
close.
I think Lily just
You're
got
so
it.
close.
What do you got, Lil?
Grace.
Go!
Yeah.
Wait, so when he's kneeling, it's truth? And when he's standing, it's grace?
No, flip it.
The opposite.
Yeah, like-
I'm
Because
trying to track
He's
with
acting
you.
like...
When he stands-
He's acting like Lord to the
Lord.
Pharisees, right? And then
with her,
he's like
giving
humbling
grace.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes
and
sense.
then does the same. He does this with everybody. Now, before we get to the end, this is where this is. Let me sit down so we zoom in here. This is where kindness sits. Is dead center of truth and grace. Kindness is right in the middle. So if you had 2 circles and they lined up a little bit, that little space where they line up, that's kindness. Kindness is being truthful and with grace, meaning what? Let's get back to the story here. So he stood back up, and then he stooped back down and wrote in the dust. And when the accusers heard this, did I miss something here?
Yes.
I jumped. I'm at verse 9. Then he stood down and wrote in the dust. What's it say up there, Ledge? When the accusers heard this, no, it goes right to it. When the accusers heard this, they slipped away one by one, beginning. Oh yeah, because I'm sorry. No, all the right, because I've already read it. I'm sorry, I'm losing my spot. Then they kept demanding an answer. He stood up again and said, all right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the stone. And then he stooped down to write again. And this is where I think he's trying to go, okay, whose rules are we playing by?
Yeah, and I think that part is the truth, too. It's like, okay, well, if you've never sinned, then throw the first stone. And he's standing when he says that.
Right, that's the Lord part. Mm-hmm. Lord, hey, here's the truth. Here's the standard. Here's the way to go. And I think, when I think about what he's writing down, it kind of makes sense because he's wanting to know whose rule are we playing by here? Are we playing by this made-up rule you just made up where you're just bringing the woman over here and not the man? Or are you playing by the heavenly rule here? And I think that's the question whenever it comes when you're going to have kindness to an individual. Whose rule are you playing by? Yours or the kingdom of heaven's rules? Because if you're playing by kingdom of heaven rules, you're going to have this mixture of truth and grace to be kind. You're going to think about the need of the other person. You're going to loan your strength instead of reminding them they're a sinner. Because Jesus says, hey, listen, we're playing by my rules, then let those who are without sin throw the stone. Enters the stone. I brought this in here because I think for us, when we hear, because the ramifications of adultery was to be stoned, which was this. I looked this up this week because I always thought stoning was just like people grab a bunch of pebbles out of the street and start whipping them at you. That hurts. Doesn't matter the age. I mean, all of my kids at some point or another have thrown a rock at me. Just they're playing in the driveway. It hits me in the face. Like, dang, that hurt. And I'm thinking, boy, that would really hurt if 100 people did that. But the likelihood of dying is very small. But the way they did it is they had a pit dug usually in the city that you drug somebody to that's twice the height of them. They throw them in there, and they picked up stones like this, and they threw them at people. Usually this stone, the first stone, was instant death.
So they dig a hole and then drop that onto you.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And people in the city start grabbing and just
the weight
chucking
of gravity. But
yeah, so you don't have to, but they're big rocks.
You don't have to, throw it
Yeah, imagine me trying to throw this at you. Pretty good chances of dodging.
But
dropping it where you have 50 people dropping rocks like this on you, or stones, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
You getting the imagery?
On the top of your head?
On top of your head. Because that's usually the people are aiming for that, right? They want the credit. Oh, I got him down. And then everybody just pelts him. So the consequences of what's happening here is this. I'm going to put that down because it gets heavy. Jesus wants to know whose rules are we playing by? And he's trying to say, listen, if those without sin, if you've never sinned in your life, throw the first stone, baby. Now let's get to where I was, verse 8, or chapter 8, verse 11. Then the accusers heard this, or when they heard it, they slipped away one by one, beginning with the oldest, until only Jesus was left in the middle of the crowd with the women, or the woman. I think it's something about the age. The older guy's starting to go, yeah. I think the older you get, the more messed up you realize you are, how messy of an individual you are. You start going, I'm going to give grace a lot because I need grace. I think the younger you are, younger as a follower of Jesus, you're all truth and you're just holding it to this law without this grace situation of like, oh yeah, I'm a sinner too. I've got my own issues. I lost my temper the other day, so I can't really hold it against the person that has done this, right? But we have classifications for sins, so lying isn't as big as a divorce, or stealing time from my boss is not as big of a deal or as a sin as stealing from the bank. We have this classification. Jesus is just shaking his head going, it's all the same to me. You're a sinner. They're a sinner. They need grace and truth. But we as accusers, we sit in this truth. We hold the rock. You get them, Jesus, but don't pay attention to my mess. And so I think the older we get, the more aware we are how complicated we are, and we start giving a lot of grace out of people. Now, anytime somebody brings up grace, especially somebody that looks like me, Joey, people think I'm all grace and no truth. Meaning, oh, freedom for everything and everything's permissible. Just do it, whatever. No, that's not truth. I like truth. I like those things, but I love grace. I want to be as close in the middle as I can. I very rarely get there. I probably swing more to the truth than I do the grace situation most of the time. But I think we got to get to there because being kind is in the middle. See, I think what happens is, I really like this. Eventually, the older men were more aware of their sins than the younger. Age and experience often temper youthful self-righteousness. But whatever your age, take an honest look at your life. Recognize your sinful nature and look for ways to help others rather than hurt them. See, Jesus in this situation didn't care. Now listen to all of those that want to control narratives. Jesus did not care about controlling the narrative or what the accusers would think of him. She was his focus. He didn't care what other people were going to say about him, what the memes were going to be, or what the cooler talk was going to be at work. He did not care. He was not controlling an outcome for them. His heart was this woman that is being blasted. She's embarrassed. She's just, it's a mess on top of mess. Okay, so remember, he just stooped down and was writing again. Chapter 8. 1 through 11. Then, verse 10. Then Jesus stood up again. Here it is again, repetition. And said to the woman, where are your accusers? Not even one of them condemned you. And then Jesus says, or she says, no, Lord, she said. And Jesus says, neither do I. There's the grace. And she's going to get slapped with a bunch of truth. Go and sin no more. The reason why I really think that he might have possibly been writing down in the sand the law of Moses so that everybody knew what the law was, that the man and the woman in adultery is a sin, because he never addresses that publicly here with her. So I think he's doing a lot with his finger in the ground. He's pointing to that I am God in a bod. This is the rule we're playing by. And here's the grace I'm going to give. And then I'm going to say, don't do it anymore. The Lord part. I'm going to be 100% grace. I'm going to be 100% truth. And in the middle, I'm going to be real kind. Author John, he prepackages this thought, preloads it in his book in case you need that reference, because I don't want you to go, oh, Scott said that. Here's the truth. John 1:17 says this, for the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. So there you have it. Grace and truth. He's 100% of both. You and me as humans, real hard to be 100% of anything. But we got to keep that pendulum right in the middle and just remember, hey, we're going to gravitate towards stoning people because of what they did, or doing, or posting. Jesus says, great, fine, you can do that if you're perfect. I wrote this. Kindness is a series of humble moments followed by
elevation.
Oh, elevation. Kindness is a series of humble moments followed by say it again for me.
Elevation.
Elevation of power, strength, and wisdom to lift up others. Never to elevate the strength of one, but helps others. It's a little not as smooth as I wrote it out yesterday. But kindness it's a series. What did Jesus? It's a series. It wasn't one moment of humbling himself. He stood up, stooped down. He just constantly was doing this. When we are delivering kindness, it is similar. It's kindness and truth. truth and grace, truth and grace. It's not just truth. If you're just there, you're going to hurt a lot of people. It's going to be an agenda for yourself. It's going to be protecting you. But if it's always about the needs of the other person, I was reading, here's what I said about truth and grace. When we are full on truth, we condemn. And when we're full on grace, we condone. Can't do both like as humans. That's human stuff I'm talking about, not God. So that means we got to find the middle where we are not condemning people to death and we're not condoning everything people do. That in kindness, I know I'm reading through Exodus and there's laws are given. Because the Israelites, I think it's 400, Dwayne, do you know by any chance, is it 400 years they were enslaved? Doesn't sound right?
Sounds right.
Okay.
Sounds right.
I could be misquoting that, but it's hundreds of years, this group
multiple generations, yeah.
Yeah. So all they know is to be a slave, which means somebody's telling you what to do, when to get up, when you can eat, all this stuff. You're going to save your life. You're going to worship their gods kind of situation. It's just a hot mess. And so God rescues these Israelites. Now he's got to teach them how to follow him. And so he also has to teach them, hey, listen, what's good for the body and not. So a lot of these laws come down to what's good for the body. Like, a lot of pushback on people that are like, hey, sex outside of marriage is totally fine. But Jesus, or God, sorry, in the law says, no, sex outside of marriage is not okay. It's not good for your body. That's why you read it in Exodus. I should pull it up because somebody's going to think I'm making that up. In Exodus, it says sex is not good for the body. The whole heart of this was to keep from getting STDs and passing them around. The law isn't just about a spiritual health, it's about a physical health. The reason why the law says abstain from eating these types of animals is because in those days, they couldn't make sure the meat was cooked fully. And if you didn't cook the meat fully, you get sick and you can die. He's trying to teach them, hey, this is how you have a healthy life, mentally a healthy life. So the law wasn't about control, it was about having a great quality of life. And know how to be a follower of God. And it was God's kindness to share those things with us. It was his kindness saying, hey, listen, I know how your body works. If you abstain from these things and do these things, it's going to be well for you. Like God says, hey, don't drink the blood of animals. Because you can get all kinds of yucky, gross things in your body from drinking just blood. But you know what? The pagan religions did that all the time. But then they would have issues with their life. They would have issues moving forward. The other thing about sex outside of marriage, he's trying to say, hey, one partner, because if you have multiple partners, all of a sudden you get birth problems, baby problems. We want to eliminate those things. And so this is what you need to do. And don't get me started on it. I could stand on that platform for a long time about just one partner. It's so healthy. So healthy. But the enemy doesn't want you to do that because he knows it's so healthy for you. The enemy wants to destroy you, your marriage, and future generations. So these laws that were created were for our benefit, not control. So when Jesus is being Lord of her life and he's telling this woman, stop it, or other times he says, stop it, it's for the benefit of their life, not to be condemning or controlling. He's trying to be healthy for them. So when we act in kindness, where we're leveraging truth and grace, what we're trying to do is come in and help. But if at all you get on the throne where you're angry at the individual, you're hurt in the process, you might not be the one that should be offering the grace and truth. It might be another voice while you heal. It could be something you've got to work on. So kindness, one of the fruit of the spirits, is to loan your strength to somebody else, not to remind them how they screwed up and how awful they are. But to go, hey, you can lean on my shoulder. I do not condemn you because I have messed up. And I'll point you to where salvation can be found. And make him the Lord of your life. So maybe some of you need to make Jesus the Lord of your life and your life's complicated. And you're like, why is it complicated? Because you stopped letting Jesus be the Lord of your life. That's why. And you think I'm beating it. I'm beating the system. No, at the end of the day, you're not. You're just not. And some of you need to put down the stones. Just be kind. Especially in a political season here in our country. Put down the rocks. Be kind to people. Loan your strength. Stop telling them how imperfect they are. Be kind. Okay, Lil. We started with you. You're like, I'm going to have to shelf that to the end. Did you still got questions about kindness?
No, I think it's great. I like the comparison or like the intertwined grace and truth. I think that's good.
Yeah, if I had a diagram thing to write, but I don't.
It was really cool.
But that's, again, I asked Lil, Lil, who is this individual we were watching the other day? Because I want to re-listen. Because I was trying to study on kindness because I think we just have this generic idea of kindness. We teach our kids, be kind to one another. But what do we mean? And it's like, oh, when you get it like this, you're like, whew, that's a doozy. This is a doozy. And this has got to mature in our lives. You have to have, the only way this matures is you have good roots in Jesus and it grows. Because after all, this is a fruit of the Spirit. So it's prepackaged in the Holy Spirit. You need to be asking, okay, I see this in the individual's life. Is it my job to go talk to them? Or am I angry at them because I'm hurt? And if that's the case, you got to heal up before you go do that. Because my goodness, things done out of selfish ambition is just plain gross.
But I also think if you are not needing to heal and you just see it over and over again and you think it over and over again, then you're being like the Pharisees. You're judging them in your mind. Whereas we can go in love and we can say, hey, I see this.
Yeah.
And that's a tough conversation, and there needs to be a lot of grace wrapped into that. But I also think that this is a good lesson on like having a critical spirit and just judging people for what you see them doing. And it's like, well, either say something in love or don't be judgmental.
Yeah, yeah.
know?
There's so many lessons to be learned. This whole thing, this is not a made-up parable, everybody, where we just read it with Jesus. And I think it'd be great for you to go do your own little research and studying on it and see what God speaks. Anytime, just a food for thought when you're reading your Bible on your own, anytime there's repetition in the stories, pay attention to that. And that's what stood out to me this week is it never dawned on me as, wait, he does this multiple times. What is he trying to teach? And then when you start going grace and truth, you kind of start seeing where he's bouncing between the two. And he never stays in one. May we not get locked in one. When we bounce back and forth, but truth is this, I will walk with you to the truth. I will come get you in your mess. And what most of us go, come find me when you have it all sorted out. That doesn't sound like grace. And that doesn't sound like what Jesus jumps down into our pool of poo and pulls us out. Legend's head turned this way. He's like, oh. I mean, I'm just trying to be graphic. It's like earlier, I'm just trying to paint an illustration that makes you make sense in your mind of what Jesus does for us all the time. Dwayne, any closing thoughts?
No, I think it's a good challenge of, being someone being kind, like being someone that shows kindness. It definitely made it clear what the difference between nice and kind, and it's like, okay, I can be nice, but like I want to be kind.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I feel like this kindness takes a lot more work. This kindness takes a lot more work than the world's kindness, and I would say if we polled people, they would err on grace way more.
Yeah, which is nice.
Which is just
that's just being nice.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to do any heavy lifting. I'm not loaning anything. Here's the nice statement in our generation, and it's really a frustrating thing. Oh, you do you. Joey, you do you. That's me saying I don't approve what you're doing, but if you cool with it, you do you. That's me going, I'm just going to go full on grace right now and just be nice. No truth. Dangerous.
Well, people don't want to live accountable lives.
Yeah.
Christians need to live an accountable life.
Yeah, we don't. We want, is the word autonomy?
We want our own type of agency.
Yeah, think about it. Think about how many people, I just want to be my own boss. I don't want to work for somebody. You know what? The statistics say, and it's been around for decades now in leadership books, that 2% of the population can lead themselves. 2%. That leaves 98% cannot lead themselves, meaning to be healthy, to do the right thing, to work out, to lead a business. And a lot of leadership books then says it's the 2%'s job to teach the 98% that you're not in the 2%, which, fine, whatever. That's a lot of truth and no grace. It's to teach them how to lead themselves. I do think people can learn to lead themselves through Jesus, but it's a learn. But we always want autonomy, and that's the fight. That's our skin. Your kids do it to you all the time. They want to eat when they want to eat. They want to do it. They don't want to go on the family schedule. They just, it's all about me. I'm hungry now, so I'm going to eat. They want autonomy. Boy, you see it in a big family. When one is struggling with it, they stick out like a sore thumb because, like, wait a second. They're not being a leader. They're being, I'm going to use the word selfish in the moment, and I could keep going. Thank you for being with us today. If you are hanging around and you haven't subscribed, still do that. I hope you enjoyed today's thought. I hope it makes a difference in your life. Application is key in this. This is going to be drop the rock. First exercise today is drop the rock. You're not going to stone anybody. The person you want to go condemn, you're going to have a conversation with somebody in their lifestyle. Back up. Back up. Beep, beep, beep. Back up. Don't throw, don't accuse, don't condemn. Go in there and go, hey, here's the scripture I read. How do you see it? And have a conversation and journey from that spot to maybe the true spot. Not condemning. Drop the rock. And others need to just drop the rocks and make Jesus your personal Lord and Savior. And that's a simple thing. It's admitting that Jesus, or you need a Savior, admitting that you're a sinner in your life, believing that Jesus died on a cross and rose again, and confess your sins. It's that. It's a conversation. Okay? It's not anything other than what I just said. So if you want to do that, and man, let us know if you need anything. If you need a Bible, we'll mail it to you. You can text the church. Let us know that you just made Jesus your personal Lord and Savior. We'd love to have a conversation with you or just pray for you. Here's the phone number you can text that, hey, I just made Jesus my personal Lord and Savior, 651-276-8797. And we'd love to hear from you. If you got anything you want us to pray for, you can text that. And then also, if you want to continue to give your resources at Unlock Church, all your resources help us continue to do what we're doing. And we make it super easy. You can text the number 77977 to Unlock through your smartphone. You can go to unlockchurch.com/give. You've got a couple other ways. You can snail mail it. You can go to unlockchurch/connect and get the snail mail address and mail in. However you want to give, we make it really easy, and we thank you for everybody that give. Dwayne, thanks for being with us today. Love the haircut. It looks very good.
Looking fresh.
Looking fresh.
Looking good.
The colors, because football season kicking off. Looking clean.
So fresh, so clean.
Yeah, it's great. Joey, thanks for being with us today.
Absolutely.
Lily,
You're awesome.
thanks for being with us today. And everyone else, have a spectacular Sunday. If you're here in Minnesota, we're doing a cookout right after church at the Man's Theater in Champlin, Minnesota. Love to have you. Adios, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.